harvest your grain, seal it away from rot and pests, and know that yield will still be perfect 50 years from now. Weevils, mold, and rot are the enemies of self-sufficiency. But 2,000 years ago, the Romans perfected a storage system that defeats them using only the earth and a perfect seal. We build the zero-input vault that uses oxygen starvation to defeat every grain pest. Today, we walk through the counterintuitive steps to construct a small Roman silos pit, securing your harvest against pests and market volatility for decades. Before your harvest ever touches the soil, you have to treat it like a desert traveler preparing for a long journey. The crucial first step is moisture control. The grain must be completely sun-dried, dropping its internal moisture content dramatically. This isn't just dry, it has to be intensely desiccated. If the moisture level is even slightly above 10%, disaster strikes. Instead of preserving your harvest, you create a perfect environment for fermentation, the chemical breakdown that turns valuable grain into useless, spoiled mush within weeks. Fermentation is the process that turns sweet juice into sour wine. We do not want that reaction happening underground. This intense pre-drying is the single most crucial step. It separates a perfectly preserved vault from a total loss due to rot. Now we get underground. The ancient technique used for small, independent farms was the Sira, or silos, essentially your personal underground pantry, distinct from the massive Roman state warehouses, poria. This confirms the technique is ideal for independent, small-scale growers focused on resilience. The design itself is an engineering hack. The pit must be narrow at the top and wide at the bottom, an upside-down vase shape. This bell shape minimizes the surface area of the lid required to seal it. The true secret to the airtight seal relies on choosing the right location, dense clay soil. This clay acts like perfect self-healing plastic wrap around the underground structure, preventing air from seeping through the walls. We then line the walls with natural materials, like straw or cured grass. This simple DIY layer creates a buffer, stopping condensation from the cold clay walls from ruining your grain. The entire preservation system depends on the absolute airtight seal. Modern systems often fail by relying on expensive technology, when simple earth and clay are the only tools required. After filling the bell-shaped container, we cap the narrow mouth. The Romans used a heavy stone slab or clay plug. We then cover this completely with thick clay plaster and packed soil. The goal is zero permeability. Not one molecule of oxygen can enter, making the container completely impermeable to the outside world. This is the moment we commit the grain to the system. You are essentially vacuum packing it for survival, but on a massive biological scale. This simple, low-cost technique ensures absolute air deprivation, the key to the entire preservation process. Once sealed, the biological mechanism takes over. The small amount of oxygen trapped inside is immediately used up. Both the stored grain and any tiny pests, the weevils or tiny beetles that ruin stored food, start to respire, breathing up the air. This process quickly drives oxygen levels down to almost zero. Think of it like a small fire consuming all the available air in a sealed room. When the oxygen is gone, the atmosphere inside becomes rich in carbon dioxide. This CO2-rich environment is the scientific kill switch. It suffocates all the bugs and halts aerobic mold growth, the fuzzy rot you usually see on spoiled food, which needs oxygen to survive. The low-oxygen hack solves the two biggest problems facing long-term storage: insects and fungal rot, achieved purely through chemistry. As Pliny the Elder wrote about these pits in his natural history called Sira, they preserve grain for 50 years, provided the pit is completely airtight. If you like seeing historical blueprints for biological independence, we engineer a new closed-loop system every single week. Historical records confirm that perfectly sealed grain could last for up to 50 years, and certain hardy crops, like millet, for over a century. That makes this a true multi-decade security measure. If you broke the seal too early, oxygen would flood the container, waking up dormant pests and instantly restarting the rotting process. But when done correctly, the preservation is complete. We can open our sealed pit to confirm viability. The grain inside is clean, dry, and remains entirely usable.
Not only does this preserve the food, but one unexpected side effect is that the flavor changes over decades.
The counterintuitive proof that the system worked perfectly is this: retrieval is hazardous. When the seal is broken, the lethal levels of concentrated carbon dioxide gas that preserved the grain rush out. The proof of successful preservation is that the gas inside is toxic, confirming the air has been entirely replaced. The Romans knew they had to extract the grain with caution because introducing air again would immediately allow pests to reestablish themselves. Moreover, the anaerobic process preserves the grain and kills pests while simultaneously changing the flavor chemistry. Grain taken out of the pits sometimes tasted slightly sweeter due to subtle chemical changes caused by the total lack of oxygen. This closed-loop approach to food security is just one piece of the independence blueprint. See how historical resilience applies to water in our video on designing and cleaning ancient cistern systems. By mastering simple, low-input systems like the Roman silos, we transform ourselves from consumers reliant on brittle logistics chains into independent producers who can secure their own future harvest, no matter what happens above ground. If you liked this, how a 1,000-year-old trench garden defies modern droughts, that's the next one.